One of the widely discussed subjects on the internet is about the role of a project manager in an e-discovery company, whether that's a vendor, law firm. People want to know, what exactly do project managers do? And I don't have experience working for a lot of companies, but I do have experience of changing jobs, going from company that has project managers that specialize in one thing to project managers specialize in something else. And I want to share that experience with you, hopefully making it a little bit clearer what the role of project manager might be. So the first thing we need to address is project manager in general. And project manager is in e-discovery is different than project manager anywhere else. The way I understand it, project manager everywhere else is a person who is managing, just telling other people what to do, and they have a definitive start of a project and an end of the project. And they're there to tell different people in different departments or different companies, you do this, you do that, you do that. And then they go from the start of something to a completion, and then the project is completely over. And when it comes to litigation, there are two very important differences. One is projects rarely have a definitive start and end time. So probably get assigned to a project somewhere in the middle saying, okay, here we go. We have this case in progress. Get up to date, and here's all the information, and you're going to be working on it, and you may never see the end of the case, or what may seem like the end of the case, it may continue again. So there is no like a real start and end to basically anything. It's all just continuous, ongoing process, and you taking part of it. The second thing, you're hands-on. Project managers are rarely just telling others what to do. They have to do work themselves. In different companies it varies, but normally they get involved and they get their hands dirty. They aren't just there sitting comfortably and managing a schedule and just sending emails left and right. All right, so what was my experience personally that I want to share? Well, I used to work for an e-discovery vendor, typical, scanning, printing, all that stuff. And we had really technical project managers that were hands-on. We were working together. We would discuss technical details of projects, and that's kind of how I imagined project managers to be. But then I changed jobs to work for a document review-based company. Again, they were doing all the same stuff the previous company was doing, but they were really focused on review first, and all other services were basically supplements to the review. They were not seen as the primary, they were just needed to facilitate the review process. And when I joined the review company, I started talking to project managers like they were from my previous job. I had assumption that they had technical knowledge and they were versed in e-discovery in general. And so we were having a conversation like, all right, so we got this data, so I'm just going to deduplicate globally, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And they're like, whoa, hang on. What do you mean deduplicate globally? What's the deduplication again? And I'm like, wait, what? And so we had to go into a discussion about deduplication and global, custodial, and all that stuff. And it was really weird to me that they did not know that. And these weren't dumb people by any means. It's just that what they knew more about was document review. That's what they were focusing on. So that's what they knew all about. And when I would try to talk technical questions, they simply didn't know. So that was a very jarring transition for me to go from project managers who basically would speak my language to we have to treat them as new clients, and I had to explain everything to them. And so because of that, there was a little bit of a learning curve of trying to work together. And the company had other weird ways they would do things. So for example, we received an outside production and it's missing any kind of searchable text. So I asked, all right, well, do you want to get a new one, request it, or should I just OCR it? And they're like, yeah, just OCR it. I'm like, all right. So we're going to bill them per page, this many cents per page or something like that. No, just charge them hourly. Like, hourly? What do you mean? We're doing OCR. Yeah, we're not going to bother with all the per unit quantities or anything like that. We're just gonna, charge them whatever time it takes for you to OCR that and make it searchable. That's what it is. It's simpler for everybody. And that was such a crazy concept to me that they didn't want to bother with any units of TIFFs or pages or OCR or any of that. Everything would be just like hourly. Yeah, whatever. Just log your hours. That's what we bill. Done. Don't need to worry about all that little details and counting how many pages and stuff like that. The other interesting thing was difference in their priorities. So in my other jobs, usually you have to complete a project. You have a start and an end, not the big project, but particular task, process data or CR documents and so on. Well, again, this company didn't really care about that. The goal was review. So as long as reviewers were busy, you can take as much time as you want. It doesn't matter how fast you process or how many days it takes. As long as you're ahead of reviewers and those people have enough data to look at, you're fine. So again, that was a sort of a different concept there. So I think the way I would want to summarize this is different companies do not have one definition for a project manager. Project managers do different things in different companies. I've seen project managers being very hands-off, where they don't do any work or very little and they just send requests. And then I've seen other companies where project managers do very complicated searches. In fact, some of them even run their own productions, which is a little odd to me. This is what you normally have techs for. But if you're looking to change jobs or go into a different company, you should ask what the role of the project manager is, ask them what the day-to-day is like, and basically get as much information as possible about how the project manager department is set up and what they're expected to do. This way you will not be surprised when you start a new job. That's it for this video. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to follow on LinkedIn, subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you on the video.